Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are talking about vacuum sealing and vacuum sealers. Many of you have been asking and basically asking me to do the video and explain to you about the vacuum sealers, because I think the general consensus is that the vacuum sealers are quite expensive. Well guys, to be fair, they're really not. I've bought my one, which is a Silvercrest one. I've bought it from Lidl like years and years ago, and it's the best thing I ever spent. I think it was like £18.99 at the time. It's the best money I ever spent on something like that. At the moment you can still get them. I think occasionally I can see them in Lidl, like in the brochure, that they do them when they do a kitchen week. But however, for some reason, locally here, I wasn't be able to get one, or even the replacement bags. But the good thing is that they are available on Amazon, and there is loads and loads of options there. They're literally, guys, moved on so much since like the time that I bought it. Even now, I think they've got some sort of digital displays, many of them do, and you've got the little cutting mechanism. But to me, I think sometimes is the simpler the better. They do the job and there's no need to spend a lot of money. I do have to change this one because it is old, and I've the little ribbon that basically seals and that seals the bag has been sort of ripped, so I had to repair it a little bit, but basically it doesn't always work as good as it needs to, so I will have to change that. I will find one, I think the one that I think is a good fair price and it's got a good options and good everything good about it, and I'll put it down link below if anybody wants to buy it. Obviously you can buy what you want, but I'm just going to find one, and I think the one that I would probably suggest or buy one myself anyway. So without further ado, so guys, vacuum sealing, okay? We're talking about vacuum sealing the vacuum sealing the food in the bag to protect his life. Well, first things first, guys, right? When you buy like rice or lentils or any basically grains, a lot of the time it already has a 2-year shelf life. And to be fair, I've done this with the pasta and I've done this with the rice. You're probably absolutely fine of being able just to buy a bag of rice or bag of pasta or whatever it is and put this in your cupboard and sit in it for 2 years without any issues. It's only when we come and talk about a longer storage than what is advertised on the package, or if you live maybe in a slightly hotter area, or you store products somewhere in, again, maybe not where is the optimal conditions for their food to be stored, then obviously we use the vacuum sealer. To be fair, I've got my like imminent stuff that I use, like imminent rice that I've got in a cupboard, and then I use a vacuum sealing to seal something that goes for a slightly longer term storage, and then I use the Milo bags, and I've got this one that's got vacuum seal thing inside. And then, because Milo bags don't vacuum seal really well by themselves at all, really. And then the stuff that I do keep for a really, really long time, I actually do use proper oxygen absorbers and seal the Milo bags for the long-term storage. And we're talking about, so generally, guys, per my experience and understanding, your normal rice and beans, that kind of thing, 2 years sitting there in your shelf in the home, absolutely fine. Anything from 2 to 5 years, it's okay for me to put this in a vacuum bag, and anything 5 years onwards, I would suggest that you use the Milo bag storages. Again, it's a personal choice, guys. Milo bags are far stronger than the vacuum bags, and I tell you what, guys, generally, right, when you buy the bags, I do kind of suggest that I know it's really hard, but if you buy them, you're trying to like determine the strength of the bag, because it's really, really important, because those things, not only they actually eventually do leak oxygen and they will inflate, they also can sort of tear with a tiny little hole, especially if you have like rice. If there's slightly bit of sharpness, you can just graze you on something and it will create a tiny hole. So it's very important to make sure that the bags you buy are of a good quality. And those bags I've bought from Amazon, and they're very good quality on a par with the ones that came with the machine from Lidl. And the one thing is, I started to say, trying to rip the bag, not the rough side, I don't know if you can see this on the camera there, but the soft, smooth side here. I've bought, right, a big 60 or 30 meter roll, okay, of vacuum bags from Amazon. And although it did say there's meant to be like all this, top spec and really, really hard wearing, I found when I pull the bag out, put this aside, and then literally as simple as trying to pull my finger through, it stretches. hopefully you can see that on the camera there, it stretches a lot, and to me that really doesn't indicate a good quality. Yes, they were cheap. I think it was like $23.99 for 30 meters, which is kind of really good price. But I'm thinking, well, the quality is there suffering because of the price. And it's probably be okay if you wanted to seal like sugar or something that's not particularly abrasive, or maybe use this for obviously freezing your chicken or whatever, is any food that goes in the freezer, because obviously that stops the freezer burn. So I'll probably still keep them, although I'm kind of inclined to return them because they just not seem to be fit for purpose per se. But I think about it anyway. But this is the lesson for you. The key thing, guys, cheaper doesn't always mean better. And when we are talking protecting our food for long term, we kind of want to make sure that we invest into the best things possible to keep our food safe. So I've also started doing this. As you can see before, I've been doing my rice into just a bag. I keep forgetting the name. Vacuum bags, right? And then because what happens, like I told you guys, if you have an issue and if you rub the two rice bricks together, you'll create a hole. It just seems to happen. And those bags, although they're really strong, but even under duress, when they rub together, this is what happens, right? You develop a tiny little hole, and suddenly the vacuum bag becomes just a bag of rice. It's not too bad. It's not a big of an issue because the rice I had, I have frozen this for a few days and then obviously let it come to the room temperature and then sealed it there. And I've put the bay leaves as well. I've put just in case. I just want to make sure, guys, when we spend all that money, I just want to make sure that my product's there and actually going to be there when I really need them without any issues. Not particularly the bugs are going to be an issue in this SHF situation, because it's like, let's think about it, it's an extra protein, right? But nonetheless, anyway, it's not nice to have in there, and it's the best thing to protect it. So this is basically what happens if you unprotect your bags, and I can actually, I think I see the whole, rice pierces through, and it suddenly becomes basically, well, waste of time and waste of money, because yes, it's okay, but it's kind of, what's the point putting it in the bag? Anyway, so I've started, sorry, I'm rambling on. I've started putting the rice bags into the bags. So basically we have double the protection of plastic. So I keep the initial manufacturing packaging in there, and I make a tiny little hole, because sometimes the vacuum sealer won't suck the air properly if the initial packaging is really airtight. So you pierce the hole to make sure the vacuum sealer can get all the air out, and that basically creates an extra bit of thickness, so you're less likely to pierce that if you just put this in a cupboard or whatever you put this in there. It gives an extra thickness protection from basically little holes, okay? And if you didn't want to do this, because I know packaging, it could be dirty, like, do you know what I mean? It could be wipey, but many people might feel a bit, I don't really want to do this. Then you can dispense it in there in the normal bag, vacuum seal it, and then you can put this in a Mylar bag if you want. The question you'll ask, why would you not just put this in the Mylar bag? You can, but as I said, the Mylar bags will require then to have oxygen absorbers, because the only way the Mylar bags will work with the vacuum sealer, if you cut off the rough part of the vacuum sealer bags, you're going to then position this in between the Mylar bag edges and then suck it through. And even though it doesn't always work that well. So the reason is the vacuum sealer bags work so well, and actually work in the first place, because you have a smooth side and you have a rough side. So when you put it together, the little gaps between the little bubbles in there allow air to come out. So hence the ability for the vacuum sealer to draw the air out, and then it glues it back together. So this is why the Mylar bags, people seal them with like hair straighteners, or I've got another like a sealer, like industrial type sealer, but you have to use the oxygen absorbers for the bag to basically shrink up like this. I have some, but because they are in a long-term storage, I'm not getting them out to show you, unfortunately, but excuse me. So basically that's the reason why. So I've still used rice and I put them in the Mylar bags like this, because I can just take this out. We're talking about the medium storage term for the rice, so I don't have to waste the bag. I'm using it, I'm putting them in, and I can take them out without wasting the basically Mylar bags. Mylar bags are extraordinary amount of money right now, and so is oxygen absorbers. I did want to buy some silver ones, but guys, the prices are stupid. Oxygen absorbers prices are stupid, and they're just going up and up. And nonetheless, now I've been watching them on Amazon for a little while, for the past probably 3 months, I would say. and it's barely any available on Amazon. I kid you not. With many things, like the prepping things now, you'd be really surprised that the things are just going faster than you think. So this is one of the times, guys, if you are starting your prepping journey, or you're in the middle of your journey, but you haven't got one of those, and if you're considering buying them, or Mylar bags, or oxygen absorbers, buy them now. Because it's, I kid you not, you probably won't be able to get them, or end up paying like stupid money anyway. So here we are. So what do I use for, what do I put in my, here it goes again, the bags, what do I put in the bags? Sorry. Why do I have this problem? I don't know. Anyway, so what do I vacuum seal in my bags? When we're talking about grains, guys, I do pretty much everything apart from sugar or salt. Salt I just have in the bags. Sugar I have in the initial paper thing, and I just wrap up some cling film or pallet wrap around it, purely just to stop the little granules coming out and making a mess in the pantry. And then I put them in a box, airtight box, and that's fine. You can vacuum seal this if you want to. Again, I'm only keeping sugar hopefully until sort of next year, for the next year, like to make jam, so I don't have the need to kind of vacuum them and do a lot with them, because, well, I'm going to be using them next year. If you store them for any longer than a couple of years and you choose you want to do this, then probably do. Again, it's like a personal choice. I feel that I much rather, because we're spending all this time and money in buying all this food, I feel like I much rather overdo it than underdo it. So if you got the option and if you want to do it, then do it. If I had probably all the money in the world and I was prepping, and I'd probably just do the sugar and I would put them on those bags, seal it up with a vacuum seal and put them away. But I don't feel like I want to spend the money on that, because at the moment, and I've been suggesting this to you guys before, it's basically quantity over, and I say equipment, but over the quality. So rather than spending extra on something like this to vacuum something that doesn't require this, invest your money into buying extra food and preps rather than spending money on that. It's the same thing with the oxygen absorbers though. However, guys, I have chosen, and I've been doing like half and half. I have been putting oxygen absorbers in the vacuum sealer bags, and I've been putting them in 50-50, because technically you don't have to, because as soon as that bag starts to expand, if it rips or if it just over the time they do anyway, you kind of wasted the oxygen absorber anyway. But for the medium term, then I'm keeping them 50-50, and I want to see that at least if for some reason some of it spoils, which it shouldn't be anyway, at least I've got 50-50 chance of my options there. So anyway, so I do rice, I do basically anything dry, beans, sweet corn, I've got the pearl barley, anything like that, I just vacuum. And I put how many kilos, this one I didn't put, but I think it was a kilo of what it is and the weight of that and the date that I've packaged it. And then again, it either goes in the box or goes in the Mylar bag and the box. Don't forget, when you store the stuff in the vacuum bags, they have to be in the dry, dark, cool conditions. Basically, you can't just sort of, you can put this in a kitchen cupboard, especially if it's medium term or short term, but no way sort of put this in a plastic box somewhere where you put the light on all the time. It's just really not good for the food altogether. Okay, so basically, yeah, so one thing I'm going to do, like some of you wanted, is just demonstrate how they work. And it's nothing, it's really nothing to be scared of, guys. It's really straightforward. I do have 2 scissors. I thought I didn't. So yeah, sorry, before I proceed. A lot of vacuum sealers come with little attachments you plug into the side. So if you've got one of the vacuum, like little jars, not jar, like a Tupperware things, they have holes you can vacuum seal, but I never use that because I don't have those containers. And I don't see the point, to be fair. Right, so first things first, guys, how this machine works. You roll out, this is the decent roll, and you have buttons on there. Let me just move that out of the way. Okay, so you clip on the side. You have 3 buttons here. Generally, I think it's a standard for all. You've got a suction button that just creates a vacuum. You've got this seal button, which is basically burns the edge, so seals the bag together. And then you have vacuum and seal. I don't like to use vacuum and seal, and I tell you what, for a minute, let's just put this one on, so cut the edge, not cut the edge, burn the edge. When you use vacuum and seal button, it takes your bag to the absolute maximum limit of basically not air, but pretty much 99% of air will come out from the package, and it creates a really, really hard brick. But as I said, that the harder the brick, then the easy it is for it to be pierced. So for certain items, I take 90% of air out, and leave the ability for the grains of something to move around a little bit. So basically it gives us less chances of things to rip and pierce the bag. Okay, so basically what that's done now is created seal, so basically just melted it together. So next thing is, this is the thing is that slightly a bit annoying, but you kind of learn it after a while, I suppose, even though I still make mistakes, is to work out how much space do you need to cut to position whatever you put in. So I've got the 2 kilos of brown lentils. So we just seal this, if I'm just going to close this to hold it. And we need to have a lip because the machine got the lip to be able to suck the air and then space and then to seal it. So, and sometimes, yes, you cut off too much or too little. It's a bit annoying, but... So let's, for example, I'm thinking we needed to go here, cut it up. That's the only other thing, guys, is to putting stuff in, right? It's a little bit... When you do this, like, single-handedly, it's a bit annoying. Yes, a few people put this, like, in the boxes if you do a lot, but I do sort of just a couple at a time, so putting thing in the box, you're just going to fall off anyway. So, right. Cut off my packaging. You can have this. I'm just going to put that in there, just a bit easier. You'd be surprised, right? I've done this so many times. But you'd still be surprised how many times you've created a mess. You think you go hold of this bag and you put the stuff in there, and it suddenly goes poof, and it's stuff everywhere. And I did this with my those beans, little beans, the moth beans that I bought, which I will do the recipe soon, I promise. And they're literally, those things are tiny and they were everywhere. I was so cross with myself. Right, so what we do, put it in there. There we go, and I'm going to finish that with the rest. Again, you've got to be careful doing this. I'm folding this backwards, but you've got to be careful because, again, you can easily kink it and it will create a little air hole. But if you've got somebody to help you, even better. Wash that in there. Okay, again, because I don't have the black... oh my god, I keep forgetting the words. My goodness. Lentils. Never cooked with them before. Well, I wouldn't say I'm going to be that far from. This is, I bought a couple, so this is going to go into like a medium time storage. So I'm going to keep one locally in my glass jar. And because I'm not going to keep it for a very long time, I'm not going to bother again with the oxygen absorber. I'm just going to put the bay leaf in there. Bury it in a little bit because the bay leaves could be sharp. Okay. So we'll position that here. So we've got the air suction holes there. So you have to be within that. And then this is the metallic thing that will seal the bag. And, right, I'm going to close it in. And again, because it is quite old, it doesn't always work as good. There's so many new ones you can slide your bag in there. So, right, so we'll line it up, move them around. So I'm going to do my own, get it suction going. It doesn't always work first time, guys. You have to position the bag. See, to me, that's too much. That's enough now. And then I'm going to press the seal button. I don't want it to go overly too much because it will create a problem in terms of it being ripped potentially. So yes, we've got some air there still, but as I said, guys, it is for a, you see what I mean? It's not as loose, but it's still manageable. So if you do need to sort of fold it in or fit it somewhere to put it somewhere, it works. And again, it won't hurt sometimes to double seal it. Again, sometimes if you get a bit of particle of dust going into the seal, it might not seal as well, or that you'll spot this next day, unfortunately. And I don't think that's gonna... They do have like 20-second waiting time between the seals. That didn't do as good a job. But anyway, so basically that's that. So that's now sealed. Before you guys put the stuff in the cupboards, leave this on your counter and make sure that it's not leaked. So like with the rice and stuff, just put it to the side and check tomorrow, because if you suddenly develop a hole, you'll see this, the bag will be inflated, and you either redo this again. Obviously you have to disregard the bag because it'll be useless, you don't know where the hole is, or you just sort of put this in your sort of current using cupboard, whatever you're using right now. Basically that's that. So basically this is it, guys. So this is literally as simple as that. It's nothing to be scared of. It's very straightforward. You seal, you suck the air, you seal again, and you seal again if you have to, and that's that. So I'm going to put this away in time into my medium storage, and happy days. So anyway, I hope, oh yeah, I'll just put some oxygen absorbers out if you guys wanted to see. I keep them in a little jar because unfortunately when you buy them, they come in like a big bag, vacuum bag, but once you open it, obviously you've got to put them somewhere, and of course they have to be the airtight container. Don't panic, like I know many people panic because, oh my god, it's exposed to oxygen and suddenly all soak in and they all become useless. It takes up to 2 days for them to actually fully work. So if you just doing your little batch of sealing, and it's, you know, don't leave the jar open, of course, it just prolongs the thing, but if if it sits there for 5-10 minutes whilst you're doing, it's really not going to be that much harm done for it anyway. So well, I hope I guys have answered all your questions. If I haven't, please comment below. You know, you can obviously, ask away. And don't forget to thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.